administrators of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was the one who turned the tide of the Afghan and Pathan invasions of India, going on for over 5 centuries back into their homelands. I now request the Minister of Communications and IT, Shri Kabil Sibal, to please release the postage stamp. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It is most appropriate that today the biography of this national hero also be released. In his review of Hari Singh Nalwa's life story, Sikh historian Khushwant Singh observed that many legends grew around Nalwa. It was hard to sift facts from fiction till one of his descendants, Vineet Nalwa, gathered textual material, including ballads composed by the general's admirers, as well as old paintings, and put these together in one volume, Hari Singh Nalwa, Champion of the Khalsa Ji, published by Inaugrates. The book is now available both in English and Gurmukhi. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I would now request Dr. Vineet Nalwa, a Commonwealth and Fulbright scholar and a distinguished academician, most importantly, a 7th generation descendant of General Hari Singh Nalwa, to say a few words.
Respected Shri Sibal, Brigadier Sukhjit Singh Ji, Sardar Bindra Ji, ladies and gentlemen. It was a sultry evening on 9 September 2001 when a correspondent was quizzing me about my work as a personal enrichment trainer. In the course of the interview, I was asked questions about my surname. As I began to recount how my ancestor, Sardar Hari Singh, acquired the cognomen Nalwa, I realized how little I knew of my ancestry. A couple of days later, following, came the 11th of September 2001. The events of that day changed the world order and sent everyone scurrying to the nearest map to locate Afghanistan. I began my quest for information on the ancestor who had spent a lifetime subduing the Afghans in the first half of the 19th century. The archival and other records revealed the amazing story of the most formidable general of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, Sardar Hari Singh Nalwa. The proposal for release of a postage commemorative stamp in honor of the general was a logical next step. Today marks the 176th anniversary of the martyrdom of Sardar Hari Singh Nalwa in the Battle of Chumrod. And I am very grateful to Shri Sibal to agree to release the stamp on this memorable day. With the release of this stamp, the Government of India has commemorated, and I quote, "the noblest and the most gallant of the Sikh generals of his time, the very embodiment of honor, chivalry, and courage." Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nalwa. I now request Brigadier Sukhjit Singh to speak about General Hari Singh Nalwa.
Mr. Kabil, Honorable Minister, honored guests, friends. It's a great privilege to be asked to say a few words on this special occasion because we are honoring the memory of one of the foremost Sikhs and military figures of his time. I'm going to try and recount to you a small episode which comes to mind. It's an anecdote actually. It may be apocryphal in certain ways, but it comes back to mind to me after 1969 when it was shared with me by Sir John Smythe, the late Sir John Smythe, who won his Victoria Cross in France and Flanders in 1915, served with the 15th Ludhiana Sikhs, now the 2nd Battalion Sikh Regiment, and I'll come to that in a moment. This concerns this great figure that we are paying tribute to this morning, General Hari Singh Nalwa. It would appear that at some stage the general was summoned by the Lord of the Five Rivers, his master, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and told that I'm displeased with you, or words to that effect, you have trimmed your beard. So this great general folded his hands and said, Maharaj, I've led your armies from the front in every pitched battle that you can think of. Meri ekoi khwahish hai, ekoi guzarish hai. I have one request, one submission. Dadi unni rakho ki tujhe de haath se na aa jaye. Now, this is not a hazard jawab, as we call it, nor is it a ready repartee, nor is it a Sikh joke. But let me try and put it in its correct perspective as I see it. You are dealing with two very great men, the Lord of the Five Rivers and his most trusted general. What does this one message imply? I suggest to you as a thought, it's relevant even today, that at an individual level, at a community level, at a societal level, and at a national level, if the stakes are so high, or as high, as to be between survival and completion of a mission or an objective, sometimes you have to surrender something temporarily, something which is most valuable to you. A belief, a policy, an article of faith. It may be necessary, but the operative word here is temporarily. I think that is the underlying message. And when Sir John Smythe told me this, he said that he was going to punish a JCO, as a junior commissioned officer, in Waziristan for having trimmed his beard. In the Sikh regiment, that's a no-no. And the JCO came up with this. Have you heard this? Sir John Smythe asked me, he said, Suki, do you think this is true? I said, Sir John, I'll put it to you this way. Knowing the personality or having studied the life of the personality you're talking about, I believe it's true. Because the message that he is giving is this. Sir John Smythe thought it over, and he said, you know, I was going to be lenient with him, which I was, but I think what you said is absolutely true. I'm passing it on to you for whatever little it's worth. This is something that comes back to mind now after 1969. It's a long time in the memory of an old man, but I'm grateful that you've allowed me to share it with you, because I think it applies to our nation, our people, our society, and our community, even to this day. And these are some of the lessons that we can derive from the life of this very great soldier and leader, General Hari Singh Nalwa. Thank you for allowing me to say it.
Thank you, sir. I now request the Minister to please say a few words on General Hari Singh Nalwa.
Brigadier Sukhdeep Singh Ji, Narendrajit Singh Bindraji, Vineet Nalwa, Preeti Nalwa, other distinguished members of the Nalwa family here and their descendants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be part of this function for the release of a commemorative postage stamp in the memory of Shri Hari Singh Nalwa, who epitomized the laudable attributes of valor, courage, and dedication. It has always been our endeavor in the Department of Post to honor such iconic personalities. Commemorative postage stamps are the best way to remember our heroes who have contributed to the values that we all cherish. This commemorative postage stamp, which is being released today, is a recognition of the significant contributions of General Hari Singh Nalwa in defending the Sikh Empire at a time when the Afghans were invading India relentlessly. He was the commander-in-chief of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's army along the northwest frontier of the Indian subcontinent. Hari Singh earned the appellation Nalwa from the Maharaja, who witnessed him killing a ferocious tiger single-handedly. He soon rose to become one of the greatest and most trusted generals of the Sikh Empire. In a military career spanning a little over 3 decades, he significantly contributed in wresting Adak, Multan, Kashmir, Hazara, Mankera, Nawashehar, Peshawar and Jamrud in the mouth of the Khyber Pass from the kingdom of Kabil, which is now Afghanistan. In fact, I'm given to understand that recently in Europe, or some time ago in Europe, there was a discussion amongst top army officers as to who perhaps is the most outstanding general that the world has produced. And amongst the names discussed were Napoleon and many others. And then in the course of that discussion, it was said that perhaps amongst all the generals in the world, Hari Singh Nalwa stands out as the greatest of all. That was the kind of tribute that was given to him in Europe. I can also mention this, that if you look at the history of India, right from the British Empire, nobody has been able to resist the onslaught of the Afghans along our northwest frontier. Nobody has been able to retain that part of the territory. And Hari Singh Nalwa, with his bravery, was able to seize the northwest frontier, retain it, and did not allow the Taliban to conquer.